What's up, YouTube people? Wanted to show you real quickly another video showing the progress I'm making towards my first saltwater tank. So I'll just kind of get into some of the things I'm doing. First thing is I took off the background from the freshwater and switched it to just a flat black background. And I did that for two reasons. One is I think the colors of the fish stand out better against black. So I plan on having, oranges and purples and yellows, and I think that'll stand out a little bit better against the black. And also it helps to hide some of my equipment. I've got two Aqueon circulation pumps. There's one on that side, and then there's one on that side. And since they're both black, when you look at it, they kind of blend into the background. So it kind of diminishes their impact, on the visual aspect of the tank. So I like the black background for that. It also matches the bottom. What this is actually, this is not sitting on the bottom of a tank. This is actually what's called starboard. They use it a lot for boats and saltwater, equipment stuff. But basically it's HDPE, which stands for high density polyethylene, I believe. And it's real sturdy. I got 1/4 of an inch of it, and it's heavy, so it sinks all the way to the bottom. And the place I got it from cuts it, within a 1/16 of an inch, so it fits up flush right with the back of the tank and just blends in perfectly with the background. But what it is a lot of people that have been doing bare bottom reefs, that's what they've started using to protect the bottom glass. Because I'll zoom in so you can see. You can see right there, there's one pressure point, which is basically, when you have all of this rock stacked, it's, all the weight's coming down on that one part right there where it hits the bottom. And if this was sitting directly on the glass, that would put a lot of stress on one point and could potentially crack it in that spot. So yeah, this rock is heavy, so this plastic right here protects it perfectly. And I also think it looks pretty good. Rockwork wise, this is base live rock. And so basically what I did is, live rock is super expensive for anybody who wants to get into saltwater and wants live rock. It's going to cost you about probably $8 to $9 a pound. And basically what most people recommend is they want you to have 1 pound to 1.5 pounds for every gallon of water. So basically with a 29-gallon tank, they want you to have at least 29 pounds, maybe, close to 40 pounds of live rock. So you do the math, 40 times 9, your costs are really going to go up just on live rock alone. So this is base live rock. This was only, I think, $2 a pound. So this is a really good, economical, cheap way to start out your reef. I got 15 pounds of this, and I just kind of have them kind of set up as, caves and throwaways. And then what you do is you take this base rock and then you put live rock on top of that. And through the cycling process, eventually this rock will get colonized by good bacteria and it'll become live as well. So I think that's a really good way to get started without having to be, super expensive. What else? Also, I showed you, I've got this Aqueon 500 and this one right here. So that's 1,000 gallons per hour of circulation. And I'm also going to have two AquaClear 50s for mechanical filtration only on the back. So I'm not going to be putting any filter media in there besides floss and sponges to catch particulate matter. And those probably, once they have the floss in there, will have about 250 gallons per hour. So basically I'll have about 1,500 gallons per hour running through this tank, which I think will be sufficient. Kind of the way I have them set up is I have this back one kind of facing along the back wall but still hitting the live rock, and then I have this one right here kind of aimed diagonally to the front. And you can kind of see right here, this is some of the dust that's settled off of the rock so far. By the way, this is not salt water, this is only fresh water, but I wanted to get the rocks wet and soaked, and also to get anything that was in them out of them basically before I put in salt water. So if you zoom in, you can see the water currents kicking up the dust that came off the rock. So it's actually kind of helpful for me, to have that on there, because, I could aim my pumps, different directions and see what it's doing. So basically, this one is shooting water along the back wall. It hits this pane right here and then kind of circles it up towards the front and back again. That's why you see these little kind of dust tornadoes come up from time to time. And then this pump is going forward and diagonal. So it's hitting the ground, it's hitting the bottom about here and then circling it backwards. So basically I want a loop where everything's getting caught up in the current. So nothing can settle really on the bottom, and it kicks up, any poop or uneaten food into the filter so they can catch it. And also it forces the water current across your live rock, because that's going to be your main source of filtration. But the only way the bacteria can get to it is if the water, kind of goes across that rock and gets caught in there so they can, get all the nitrates and ammonium and all that stuff out of the tank. So circulation is very important, and I think the way it is right now, I should be able to get a good flow going through here. The lighting is, I'm probably going to have to upgrade that. It's still only 48 watts of T5, but I'm not looking to start out with any hard coral to begin with, at least until I kind of get my feet wet, so to speak, with the hobby. So that should be good. The only real thing that I've got left as far as what I'm trying to figure out is I'm thinking I may, once I clean all this dust out of here and put salt water in, I may leave it as a bare bottom tank. I've been doing a lot of research, because I'm not real familiar with the saltwater hobby, so I've been going to a lot of forums, where a lot of people post stuff, because that's usually a good way to learn. And it seems to be pretty much a 50-50 sort of split on the advantages versus disadvantages of having sand versus not having it. Well, actually, there's two types of sand. Most people agree that if you have a deep sand bed, which is about 4 to 6 inches of sand, it's very good for denitrification because you can support a large amount of beneficial bacteria, and that can get rid of all your chemicals. However, that's not very realistic in a 29, seeing as how it's not that big of a tank. So, if it was 6 inches, the sand would come up to probably right here. So I would cut back on my water load. It might look a little ridiculous. So the next aspect is the shallow sand bed, which is probably only 1 to 3 inches. And basically, first off, I'll preface this by saying, I think I've said it before in my last videos or previous videos on freshwater. I hate sand. I mean, I'm not going to beat around it. I hate it. I hate how it gets all over the place. I hate how it gets sucked up in filters and gets kicked around. And you know what? I just think it's a pain in the ass. No other way to put it. So, with that being said, I'm kind of going back and forth on this, but from what I'm probably leaning towards, they say the advantages of having a lot of flow, at least for me, might outweigh the disadvantage of having just a little bit less, room for beneficial bacteria. But if you have enough live rock, you should be able to handle the bioload anyway. So I don't think I'm losing that much surface area for bacteria by not having a sand bed. And to be honest, I've been looking a lot on YouTube for people that do run bare bottom tanks, and there are some really cool looking bare bottom tanks out there, especially with SPS brand corals, which although they do like a lot of light, they also like a lot of current. And if you have, I've got all my power heads aiming down, and the filter intakes will be aiming down the front, and they're all going to be hitting the bottom. And so if everything's hitting the bottom, it stirs up the sand, and it just creates a sandstorm, and it gets all over the rock and the corals and everything. And I just don't want to deal with that. So I kind of actually like kind of the minimalist sort of, look of having, a bare bottom. This black background, kind of seams up perfectly with that the black bottom to the black background, I don't know. I think it'll create a cool image once I have, kind of, the rocks covered in purple coral and algae, and the colors of the coral should pop. I don't know. So I'm probably leaning towards having a bare bottom tank. Some people hate the look of bare bottom tanks. They think they don't look natural, and they just don't like them from an aesthetic point of view. But the tough thing about aesthetics is it's your own personal preference. So, if you like the look of sand, go for it. I personally hate sand, and I think it's a pain in the ass, so I might not go with that. But anyways, for anybody that does have saltwater tanks, primarily, go ahead and give me your opinions on the benefits of sand or the detrimental effects of sand, and kind of what you run in your system and how you think that helps your system or detracts from your system. So anyways, this video is starting to run a little longer than I thought it would. So as always, thank you people for watching my videos. I really appreciate it, and I'll get back to you guys soon. See ya.